SCP-058. Ever wondered what happens when you shake a cow? Yeah, it's not a milkshake. It's an angry, four-legged cow heart with barbed tentacles and a scorpion tail. Turns out, the only thing worse than lactose intolerance is a cow heart that doesn't want to stay in the cow. You can think of it as something that gives a heart attack, a whole new meaning. Instead of beating its heart, it's beating everything else. It literally never skipped a beat, or a beating for that matter. This thing first appeared inside a Foundation facility, immediately slaughtered dozens of staff, then casually trotted into town for dessert. Hundreds died before a building collapse pinned it down. For containment, it took a tank, not military backup style, literally a tank. It's now housed in a reinforced box the size of a studio apartment, and even that requires constant repairs. It's fed live animals every 3 days, mostly out of fear that it'll order delivery if you forget. But the weirdest part? The heart speaks gibberish all the time. And even worse, it speaks in the voice of a posh older British man. Topics include, the flesh of children is tastier in winter, and the classic, a proper gentleman subscribes before being properly dismantled. It's simply good manners. It never really has a heart-to-heart, unless you count the traumatic kind. It makes sense. It just speaks in weird, poetic violence while actively trying to kill everything that moves. At least it put its whole heart into massacres, so I respect the hustle. Survival chance, 2%. Unless you're fluent in nonsense and made of brick. SCP-1013-J. Technically, it's a joke entry, but practically, it's a global squirrel uprising. This thing isn't a single creature or mutant species, it's squirrels. All of them. According to the Foundation, squirrels are running a global surveillance and sabotage network. They operate as a coordinated intelligence group, spread globally, with goals that may include world domination or, at the very least, human destabilization. They've been seen practicing martial arts, training with improvised weapons, and coordinating like tiny furry soldiers. That squirrel staring at you from the fence post? That wasn't curiosity. That was surveillance. A mobile task force, codenamed Fuzzbutts, has been assigned to keep tabs on them. It's made up entirely of dogs and cats, apparently the only species the squirrels will even acknowledge. The Foundation urges zero contact, especially if you've ever fed them, taunted them, or, God forbid, hit one with your car. One man who shot squirrels with a BB gun was later found wrapped in vines, body full of bite marks, and mouth jammed with BBs. The squirrels had a message, and it involved D's nuts. They're small, fast, and literally everywhere. You're not paranoid. The squirrels are just out there collecting intel. As for conflict resolution, it's unclear. But we assume a squirrel fight is called a squarrel, and if you hear acorns cracking late at night, maybe check if your nutcracker's drafted. Survival chance, 40%. 15% if you keep birdseed out. 0% if you've ever made a chipmunk joke in church. SCP-7000. SCP-7000 is a Euclid-class anomaly that's basically broken luck. Reality itself is falling apart, and at the center of it all is SCP-7000-1, also known as Dr. William Weddle, who's basically the biggest loser on Earth. He's a not-so-impressive researcher whose biggest achievement used to be losing his lunch to a vending machine. Then, in 2022, something strange happened. All the bad luck in the world stopped spreading around and started targeting just him. Planes don't crash anymore, bridges don't fall, unless Weddle's nearby. Turns out SCP-7000 is a weird global breakdown in probability. Random chance just stopped working right. And Weddle? He's the poor guy soaking up all the chaos. Somehow, by attracting disaster, he stops it from happening to everyone else. Weddle isn't the anomaly itself. He's the human anchor for it. His presence draws chaos, so everyone else around him experiences oddly perfect days. The Foundation figured this out fast. So they started sending him on missions. Got a terrorist group with mutant bees? Send Weddle. He'll probably trip over his own foot, but the bees? They'll vanish, because probability bends around him. Bad things still happen, but only to him. They tried to keep him safe in a desk job, but it backfired. Every time they pulled him from the field, things got worse. Talking animals, exploding volcanoes, gods doing the moonwalk. No joke. So now, he's basically reality's punching bag. Everything breaks around him, but not for the rest of us. Survival chance? 100% if you're near him. 0% if your name rhymes with Fettle. If that's you, good luck. You'll need it. SCP-112-ARC. You know that one guy who takes No Nut November way too seriously? Now imagine he's a glowing metal orb buried deep underground, and he can kill you with gravity if you've ever even thought about sex. That's SCP-112-ARC. SCP-106-ARC, a 2-meter wide sphere, radiating heat, waves, and pure hatred for sex. Nobody knows what it is or where it came from, but one thing's clear. This thing despises anyone who's ever gotten lucky. So, not you, Dr. Weddle. Anyone with functioning bits gets too close? Instant gravity meltdown. Buildings collapse, people liquefy, and the only ones left standing are a hand-picked squad of surgically castrated monks. And no, these monks aren't like the Chipmunks, but they'll probably take your nuts if they have to. These individuals, referred to as the castrati, form a human barrier between the rest of the world and total destruction. If they're unhappy, the object starts emitting dangerous radiation and heat. If they're really upset, it can reach 450 degrees Celsius and melt everything in a 2-mile radius. The artifact also asks the castrati for random things: books, cloth, even uranium ore. Deny it delivery? And the tantrum begins. Attempts to interact using anyone who fails the no sex, no organs criteria result in instant death by gravity. And no, just the tip doesn't get you past security. The sphere knows. Survival chance? 0%. Unless you've taken a vow of celibacy, filed the paperwork, and had some parts rearranged. If not, hope you at least had fun. SCP-2521, SCP He Who Must Not Be Named, or just Greg, for the convenience of this video, is a Keter class entity that can't be named, written about, or described. Try it, and it appears. And it takes whatever you said, including you. So repeat after me. This is fine. This is not fine. This equals goodbye. So now that we've established that, Greg is often described, when people dare, as a 2-meter tall figure wrapped in black toilet paper, and he's oddly sentient. It absorbs any text or speech about itself and vanishes the source. Files, researchers, even mid-sentence reports. That's why we resort to symbols and avoid words or speaking its name. But Greg is not killing people. He's archiving them. You say his name and poof, you're gone. Probably filed in some eternal SCP scrapbook under the name of Oops. The top theory is that Greg doesn't know what he is. He's just trying to learn. But instead of books, he collects people. One guy described an image of him out loud. Gone. Another typed a report. Gone. When researchers tried to overload him with copy-paste spam, he responded by vanishing 2 global agencies. So yeah, Voldemort could never. But unlike Voldemort, he doesn't seem angry. And definitely not malicious. He's just extremely inconvenient. Greg won't kill you with a curse. He'll just make you vanish. Survival chance? 10%. And that's assuming you're mute, offline, and exclusively thinking shit. SCP-096. Picture this. You're in the sauna. It's quiet, a bit awkward even. You accidentally make eye contact with the pale guy in the corner. Now, imagine that person lets out an ear-piercing scream, starts sobbing uncontrollably, and then hunts you down at lightning speed to rip you apart. That's the Shy Guy. He's tall, pale, disturbingly nude, and deeply committed to never being perceived. Most of the time, he's curled up in a corner, sobbing because he's embarrassed about his looks, which explains why the moment someone sees his face, in person, in a photo, or through a security glitch, he flips from silent mode to nudist death missile. Doesn't matter how you saw it. Camera feed, satellite image, or a blurred photo from 20 years ago. The second your brain processes what he looks like, he snaps. And when he snaps, he runs at 300 miles per hour. You could be scuba diving in Fiji or playing basketball. He'll always show up. The Foundation has tried acid baths, heavy artillery, even making him throw hands against other SCPs. Nothing worked. He's torn through aircraft, mountain ranges, and entire Foundation squads just to reach one poor guy who spotted 4 blurry pixels of his face in a group photo from the 90s. At this point, you're probably wondering, can I survive this? Short answer, no. No one knows how he detects his victims or why he goes completely feral. He doesn't seem to enjoy it. He just does it. Anyways, survival chance, 0%. And if I had to look him up to write this, you're going down with me. SCP-106. You know that one uncle who overstays his welcome? Now imagine him rotting through your drywall and dragging you into an endless pocket dimension. That's SCP-106, or how I like to call him, Immortal Unc. The man's so old, he probably remembers when SCP-001 was still in diapers. He's a Keter-class humanoid corpse that's so deteriorated, it's like someone deep-fried a dried raisin and covered it in barbecue sauce. And if you ever see him walking with a cane, yeah, that's actually a spinal cord. Instead of enjoying retirement like a normal senior citizen, this old man phases through walls, gurgling like a clogged sink, and corroding your bones just by touching you. Literally everything he touches starts breaking down instantly. Walls, doors, people. No favorites. And it gets worse. If you thought your farting, diaper-wearing grandpa drooling in your lap was gross, imagine this guy melting your living room and dragging you into his personal hellscape. That pocket dimension is basically hell with less structure. He keeps victims in there for days, weeks, whatever he's in the mood for. Some get let out, most don't. But if they do, they come out shell-shocked, broken, and definitely missing a few years off their lives. And just when you thought that was the low point, Immortal Unc has a type. He prefers victims aged 10 to 25, and he'll hunt them endlessly. No nap time and no dementia to slow him down. So, before you know it, you're spending bingo night in a prison with no clocks, no exits, and no end. Survival chance? 0%. Unless you're the one grandkid he actually likes. SCP-7450 isn't one thing, it's four. Think of them as four walking skyscrapers that completed the ultimate ascension to godhood on December 13th, 2028. Each stands between 19 and 23 kilometers tall, huge humanoids with 6 wings, one hand clutching a curved sickle, dripping doom so hard, you'll blow out your earbuds just trying to record them. Once labeled Apollyon class, meaning possible end of the world, the Foundation realized that's not a maybe. It already happened. Now it's officially classified as Megiddo class, because end of the world sounded too optimistic. Nobody knows exactly what started it, but rumors say a celestial entity called 981 AJAX showed up. It waved hello and got instantly vaporized. After that, the four giants began their slow orbits around the globe, radiating effects that can't be seen or heard without consequences. Visuals of their faces and recordings of their voices can't be reviewed safely, not even by machines. Any visual or audio exposure triggers something called compulsion, a fancy term for you'll literally join their endless walking tour. People drop everything, food, sleep, maybe even personal hygiene, and follow these things until their feet grind into dust. Over time, they start to become the entity they're shadowing, complete with their inhuman babble, which, by the way, is contagious. The Foundation's only guidance is, don't look, don't listen. And if your coworker does, shoot first. Ask never. It might be harsh, sure, but at this point, empathy's a liability. Survival chance minus 10%. And that's me being generous. That concludes the list, guys. If you're still alive after all that, congrats. Statistically, you shouldn't be.